Welcome to Deep Dive Daily.
Hey, good morning, Andy. NBA today, a little horse racing today. I'm deep in the lab on this Kentucky, as always. I made this joke with an onion, you better you bet guys yesterday, and it's not even a joke. It's just the reality. I spend 120 hours, it feels like, on the Kentucky Derby handicap, and the race takes 120 seconds.
It's a bad investment.
It's a bad investment, but it's something I just have come to very much care about this outcome, and to the point where, like, talking about it on Saturday, talking about it yesterday, like, I'm already nervous, man. I'm nervous. This is going to be a really good race. I have some.
Yeah, you haven't got one right for 7 years now. I've been tracking you.
Mage came home.
That wasn't yours. That was Mike's.
Yeah, but I got a winning bet.
I know. I did have Mage. Yeah, no, that was nice.
Whoa! I was very into Medina Spirit, and while yes, you look at the list, he's not on the list. That money hit the account. The Medina Spirit 12-1 money hit the account, and they did not take that money away from me. So
that's fair. Although that I kind of call shenanigans there. That is weird. Like, because. What are you going to do? You can't take that. You can't take that money away.
It's once it's graded, it's graded.
I know. I feel like it's kind of the same, in the same spirit of, hey, the NFL is hard to beat. You know what's easier? Player props. Same thing with any major market. Player props. I feel like the undercard and the Friday races are kind of in the same vein, although they're taking so much money anyway, just because it's a big weekend. But I feel like there's a degree of maybe it's a little easier to beat some of those races for some of the horse, especially for the horse players who know what they're doing. And I honestly think, it's like when you first get into sports betting and you think, how am I going to make my account go up? I'm going to pick winners. I pick winners. It's not actually the answer. The answer isn't actually pick winners, as you find out eventually. And I think the same thing comes into horse racing was like, well, I pick winners. And honestly, I think the horse racing calculus, and this is a great question to lead off with Mike when we talk to him. Oh, cat out of the bag, Jesus, Andy. Is like
we're gonna talk about that.
We're gonna talk to Mike this week. We'll let you know on the time in a little bit. But I think when I look at how he bets, and when I look at how other sharp horse people bet, it is almost certainly like bankroll allocation and bet types, like knowing this is the kind of race where I'm betting this kind of bet because of the distribution of where I think the distribution of results are for these three horses. And this is an exacta box bet. This is a race I'm skipping and just using in my verticals. This is a race I'm going heavy on in the horizontals. This is a race I'm just using one bet or one horse in my pick sixes, and that's it. I'm not betting it otherwise. It doesn't pay for anything other than completing a pick six later on. So I really think like bet type and bankroll allocation is key over almost everything else in the horse racing, because you have the same info everyone has for the most part. If you're at the higher echelon, I kind of wonder, maybe that's a good one. We get so deep right into the Derby right away. I don't know. We've talked about Mike's history in the past, but I'd like to hear his story. We've told our stories of like, hey, here's how I bet when I was, 10 years ago when I was an idiot. And this is how we got better with modeling and information and, networking. I'd like to hear how he progressed through being, I'm sure he was a shitty horse bettor at some point. Like, that's just how everybody starts. You're bad at it. I kind of want to go through that, but the same thing goes with these undercards. I think there's some money to be made in the undercards, but I just don't think I understand the best way to approach every race.
I think you probably, there's some survivorship bias, so maybe he didn't even start as a shitty horse racer. Maybe he did just pick winners.
Yeah,
and you're like,
okay, could have hit a huge superfecta right away.
I guess I'm good.
Oh, I'm good at this.
Now, you said something that made me think, because it's been a while since I thought about this, but vertical isn't vertical within a race and horizontal is across races?
Boy, I thought it was the other way around,
You
but
thought it was the other way around?
I'm
It's
not
been a while
like,
since I thought about
I'm
it.
not super confident in
Yeah.
saying one way or the other on that.
I thought a vertical was like a superfecta and a horizontal was like the pick six, but I could be backwards.
So in my mind,
Yeah.
vertical because of the race listings.
But yeah, when you go to the screen, they're always lined up like that.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know what it is now. Well, we got to get this straight before I go and make a fool out of myself saying something backwards. But okay.
All right, cross race wagers.
Yeah, isn't that horizontal?
Horizontal.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I was off.
Within race is vertical. Okay. All right. Yeah. Good deal. Okay.
All right. I'm glad I got that out of the way, so I didn't embarrass myself in front of fucking Mike.
I do want to talk about one thing about horse racing, which kind of came to me like light bulb moment yesterday as I was rewatching a lot of the prep races. What?
I worry about these light bulb moments.
No, the light bulb moment is just that like horse racing is like, in particular, like the Derby, which is this buildup of prep races, qualifying, and kind of relatively lightly raced, untested horses who you're learning about on the fly as they head to this kind of biggest moment of their life race, which is crazy. The light bulb moment was just that, like, this is like unique, and horse racing, I think generally is just, it is such a it is so fraught with cognitive bias. It is so fraught with cognitive bias, because if you bet into a horse that then wins, you're just like, you presumably you bet into a horse because he was rated at 20% to win and you thought it was 25, and then he wins and you're like, well, that was always going to happen. Now, like, you just mentally,
when that happens at the track, suddenly, your betting style changes.
Oh yeah, yes, absolutely, yeah. And you're like,
I'm seeing the track pretty good today.
Yeah, and just
and the next time that horse
races, yeah, and then the same thing goes where you're just like, I'm going against this horse, like he's got to beat me, and then he beats you, and you're like, well, now I got to adjust my rating on him, and you inevitably overrate him, right? Like the cognitive bias that comes from just the act of handicapping and betting the the races that run up to this is very real. And then similarly, just even beyond that into perpetuity, like, now sometimes that gives you winners, right? If you're like, God damn it, I love Dwight Abario at the Kentucky Derby in 2022, and he got fucked by that that overheated pace.
There's where I was about to go.
Breeders' Cup 2 years later, and you're like, oh, you got another shot at Dwight Abario. Let's go.
B-Rad is hitting it. I don't know why I say B-Rad. It's just fucking Brad. Take the hyphen out of your name, you chumbalo. No, but I mean, and this is the comparison to, I almost said regular sports. What sports are regular? Go ask somebody from the Philippines. I don't think they think the NFL is like the regular sports, but NFL for us, because it's our biggest sport that we look at the most, or in NBA in your case, or golf. Sure. When you're looking back at it, and I think that's the same thing. Going back and doing a box score deep dive, or what we do on Monday and Tuesday when we're on NFL Plus, rewatching some games, rewatching some certain players, looking at box scores, trying to look at that with clear eyes, it's tough. If you bet against a team and there was just a little bit of variance, like, some variance got you, in your mind, it was a shitload of variance. And you got fucked. You got
1 in 100. Yeah.
You are Marcellus Wallace in Pulp Fiction over a barrel.
Baddest beat of the year.
Oh my God, this is the worst speed I've ever taken. And I think the same thing, you mentioned that with the horse, like a horse has a unlucky ride. Like the pace wasn't what it was supposed to be. Yeah. Some things happen. He gets shuffled in a weird spot. Maybe the jockey just did a bad job, bad ride, bad prep trip or something. Yeah. And you take that and you inflate it. So I think it's the same thing. Like looking back at previous races with clear eyes is hard. You still need to try to do it.
Oh, it's even harder with horses because it's animals, I think. And you're just like, I knew this animal was this
Animals are full
yeah.
Colin Morikawa. They're not
Yeah.
giving a post. They're not giving a post race press conference.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, I do really feel like the cognitive bias that creeps into decision making around betting is like on absolute steroids when it comes to horse racing, just based on the nature of like the excitement of the race being run, and just like yeah.
Well, it's the smallest goddamn sample. It's like basing how your bet was off one play in an NFL game. Like, well, 8-yard gain. Looks like I picked the right team.
Which, I mean, this brings me a long way to saying, like, I think that spells a lot about what's going on with the Derby this year, right? Like, you looked at the morning. I'm sure you've seen the morning line odds. I'm sure you've heard. You've seen the outright markets at bookmaker and otherwise. We got a healthy favorite for the Kentucky Derby. There are 20 really good horses in this race, and one stands alone as like the most probable winner by a good amount.
15 really good horses in this race.
Yes, there are. There are. It's tough to toss actually in this one. I've made some decisions. I've tossed some guys, but it's tough. It's not easy. There's reasons to believe that even the horses that have never shown you anything can take a step forward. I'm serious, but the journalism favoritism, I think this year is a little bit fraught with some of this cognitive bias that I'm talking about, because the entire arc to this point of the season was not even will Bob Baffert win his 7th Kentucky Derby. The arc was which of his horses is going to win, right? He wins the Juvenile last year with Citizen Bull going away at the Breeders' Cup. And it was like, Baffert is back. And then coming into this season, every single prep race at Oaklawn, at Santa Anita, surely, but like all over the place, it was just like hot Baffert horses. Top going off at like 1-1, 1-1, 1-1.
Hot Baffert horses in your area want to race.
Hot Baffert horses everywhere. Which one of these amazing horses is going to win? Well, guess what? Barnes didn't make it to the Derby. Matticat Road. He's running the Pate Mile, Andy. Cornucopian just got his ass handed to him at a claiming race at Aqueduct last weekend, right? Like, these were 3 of the top choices among handicappers 2 months ago out of the Baffert barn, and they're not here to contest for the roses. It is only Citizen Bull and Rodriguez. And what's funny is that Citizen Bull drew the dreaded 1 hole. It's not as bad as it used to be, by the way, to being in the 1 hole.
Don't say 1 hole. It sounds so filthy for some reason.
He drew the 1 post. And that just for perfect historical transparency, the 1 post used to be the kiss of death, because the way that the old gate was, where you remember where they had the auxiliary fly out, that made the gate so wide that effectively, if you were starting in the 1, you didn't have a lane. You were going out of your gate directly into the rail. Like, it was just a totally fucked situation if you were that far left. Right. And now that they have the new gate constructed, we don't get to throw out horses because they're going to crash into each other and completely wreck their first quarter, 1/8 of a mile. We don't get to toss the 1 anymore, because you are still kind of, I didn't see that. Berrettini was doing well early in that match, and I was just like, not going to watch, not going to make myself miserable this early in the morning. All right. But yeah, like you can't toss the 1 anymore. And Citizen Bull has early speed, so he should be able to get the lead if he wants it. And the other Baffert choice, Rodriguez, breaking out of the 4, probably also on the early speed. He ran his best race wire to wire at the Wood Memorial. So like, I think it's realistic to expect that those 2 kind of control the pace of the race. And what was fascinating is Baffert has done a couple of interviews, right? And most of the kind of stuff that's broken through, at least in terms of like the high profile, the stuff that's really gone viral, is him just talking about how it feels like I never left. It's great being back. Like, if you don't already know, Baffert got suspended for 3 years for doping Medina Spirit, and ultimately, like, this is his first race back since he was, suspended. And, there's a lot of like, yes, it's great to be back at Churchill Downs. It's like I never left. And he's a 6-time fucking winner. Like, this guy's a big deal in the sport and at this race. And his horses are going to take money, I suspect. But the interviews that broke through didn't really tell you anything. The interviews that you found, if you dug a little bit, did tell you something, Andy. And I think, and I would like your opinion. I'll send you this clip if you haven't already seen it, but he gets, he's getting interviewed about the draw, Citizen Bull draw on the one, Rodriguez, and the interviewee is like super hot on Rodriguez. Like, watched him run, working out, looks great. Course is floating. Like just nothing but nothing but praise for Rodriguez. And Baffert is like, nah. I don't think he likes Rodriguez. It's pretty telling that he's just like, yeah, I'm glad he's here. Like, yeah, he did. I sent him to New York to qualify, and he did. Good job. That's like the vibe you get. He brought Mike Smith out of retirement to ride him. Like, you would think that, like,
that's the thing. Like, does his being cold on him and really affect it
affects my opinion of what he thinks of the horses.
I know, yes. But you're speaking out of both sides of your mouth here. You said you don't believe in Baffert, but you believe him when he's cold on a horse. Like, you don't believe that he's like, I'm ready to be back. I'm ready to win. He was wrong on that, but he's right on this.
No, I'm just saying that was fluff. The fluff of, like, it was like his reception and all that. Like, that doesn't matter. Like, that's not telling you anything.
Well,
right?
No, but I think this could be fluff too. It's just him not talking to an interviewer.
Well, like,
you get a good jockey on this horse, and I mean, it ran well enough.
I'm parsing the interview, and I'm telling you that he was cold on Rodriguez. And then they get to Citizen Bull, and he was pissed that Bull drew the one, because I think he was like, I think he thinks Bull has like a run. He has like a run in him, and I think he thinks Rodriguez has had his best race at the Wood, and it's just going to be a non-factor in that. That's what I got from watching it, and maybe it's all fucking bullshit. But like, at the end of the interview, he gets like pissed, and he's like, "Don't forget, Citizen Bull is a champion. He was the 2-year-old champion." Right? Like, he's like mad that nobody's giving Bull like the consideration that he deserves. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. I'm probably not going to bet either of the Bafferts, but it's just funny because he's sort of the main story of this Kentucky Derby. And really, like, all of the spring to this point has been Baffert horses disappointing. Like, that's just kind of how it's gone. Citizen Bull's Santa Anita Derby was horrifically bad, and there's reason to believe that was just an off race for him, and he's going to be ready to pop this time. Sure, I'll listen to those arguments, but yeah, the general vibe though is everybody expected Baffert to do really well, and journalism took him down, right? And for those reasons, like, you see that happening. He wins 3 graded stakes in a row, and he's beating all these Baffert contenders, right? And eventually people will just get beaten into submission in sort of the cognitive bias landscape of just like, wow, I guess this is just a super horse.
Yeah.
I don't think he is a super horse.
A horse being like 5-2 in the 20 horse field that hasn't had the 3-year-old season that you need to have to be that price. I don't know. I'm fine. I'm with you, and my very limited research so far. I'm very with you on that. Playing against the favorite, it's a problem. There's like 15 freaking horses
I know.
that are like, and you can go to Sovereignty and go to Sandman as your second and third favorites, but then it's like that group of Bull, Rodriguez, Luxor Cafe, Grande, even Tistastic, American Square, Promise, Burnham Square, East Avenue, like all those, Final Gambit, all those horses that are like 10 to 20 to 1. Like, good luck. We're gonna probably, to pick who we like out of those to hit the board or to win, probably gonna have to have a horse racing expert on to tell us.
Yeah.
What time did we land on? Because I paused on that because I honestly don't remember. We went through 3 different times.
Oh, sure. We're gonna do 2:30 Eastern. Live from Churchill Downs on Thursday.
Going to be there, or is he going to be in Vegas?
He's going to
be in Vegas because
he's
so much.
He's doing like a marathon live stream.
Oh yeah, they do that
Mad Dog
long
Radio.
one.
Yeah, he's like the full day host of the Derby coverage on Mad Dog Radio for Sirius XM on Saturday. He said so. He won't be in Churchill, sadly, but he will be on with us on our deep dive on Thursday. Where we
probably won't do a daily on Thursday.
Yeah, let's skip the daily on Thursday.
We're gonna skip daily because it's gonna be like 3 hours later. We're gonna do a full. We'll do as long as Michael stay. 2:30 Eastern Thursday on this channel. Mike Somich, the Somo Bomb.
Yes.
giving us some winners. Bring your notebooks, take some notes. We'll have some good questions. Obviously, it'll be live, so you can get your questions in about that middle class, about the Baffert horses, about the Friday, about the Oaks, about the under races, and anything else you want to ask Mike while we have him. That'll be pretty exciting. Pivoting quick, because we're going to do plenty of horses Thursday and Friday. That's the nice part, too, is Deep Dive Daily.
Yeah.
Friday is before the Friday races.
Races will be going on, yeah.
I think
the earliest start.
Really? I thought it was like 10. I thought it was like right after we're done. It feels like 10 Central is about when they start. You double check that. I have questions. Is Draymond a knucklehead?
Yeah,
but
he's
a lovable knucklehead. They won.
An absolute turd sandwich. Yeah. I mean, I think that I almost bet Rocket Series today. I was close. Like the Warriors look like they're on fumes to me.
They're like,
and I know they're only 1 win away, but like
I know, but they're like it's one of those mid-major teams that's like, hey, this is a good team. But if you haven't watched them all year, they shoot 64% from the line, guys. So if things get wild late,
they all rebound.
Yeah, but they can't make a free throw. It's like watching kids. It's really weird. And it's not, I feel like they're better than this. It's just
no, they can't shoot at all. They're terrible. They're brutal offense.
My other question, I had a question from someone on the Bucks series. Who's getting the minutes then? Because I looked at it and I tried to answer because I'm like, well, fuck, I don't know.
It does not matter.
I think
you have an answer, which is game one's minutes rotate. It was awful. Like the usage in game one for the Bucks was fucking terrible. Like they don't really know what the hell they're doing. This is over. Like the fact that the
it's over.
Where's Giannis? What's his next team? Like
they pivoted so hard. They pivoted like 10 minutes after the injury. There was content about that. It felt like so. I said, obviously more Porter and Rollins, but it doesn't just feel like, hey, you just roll big lineups out there and be like, if Giannis can score 60, maybe we can keep it close.
Brooke Lopez has to just take everything out of the series. It's going to have to be a lot of Bobby Portis, Kyle Kuzma, Gary Trent Jr., Kevin Porter Jr., AJ Green, and Ryan Rollins. Like this is bad for them.
Yeah.
And I didn't lay the 8, but I'm thinking about it. I laid the 8 yesterday with Cleveland, and that was that absolute dream bet. I think 5.5 for the Pistons tonight is a bet. I think that's one of the better bets of the playoffs so far, actually, which makes me a little scared that I'm missing something and they're drawing dead. But 5.5 for the Pistons looks very good to me tonight. I laid 1.5 with the Clippers. I think the Clippers close that out in 6. Indiana through in 5. My price for Indiana Cleveland pencils down price is Cleveland minus 605. I think I'm going to be on minus 2.5 games for Cleveland in that series, as they are likely to win 4-0 4-1. And then Boston closes out. I think we get two closeouts tonight, and I think New York has to do it in 6 in Detroit, and I think the Clippers can do it in 6 at home. Golden State, Houston.
My second answer was like after I said what I said about the minutes, I said also a non-zero chance you just get a repeat of the Cavs game in the Bucks game. Like they could just lose by a minute. If it's just painfully apparent they can't match up anymore, it just could be a nasty, ugly game again.
Well, the thing is that their defense is atrocious, and Doc Rivers doesn't have a single answer in terms of rotation, in terms of style of play, in terms of just concept, right? Switching or dropping, nothing is helping. Nothing is stopping these guys. The offense for the Pacers is going to do whatever they want in that thing. So probably going to lay the 8. I don't know.
I think I'm there. I know nothing felt better than just being like, you know what, small bet, Cleveland tonight. I think they win by 12, 15.
No bet for me in Orlando, Boston.
I love a game like that.
No. Yep. Okay.
All right, cool. I got to go do a golf show at the top of the hour with Mr. Noonan.
What's the golf this week?
It is the Byron Nelson at TPC Craig Ranch. It's not a great. It's like Scotty Scheffler showed up in a place where nobody ever shows up. So he is the same price as journalism to win a golf tournament. Seriously, it's like plus 250 to win this golf tournament because there's one other golfer in the top 50 that has shown up. It's usually a very weak field. He's from Texas. It's a Texas event. I kind of get it. I don't know if it's a sponsor thing or why he's here. So it's the same thing, except you have 150 golfers you can play against the favorite.
I like it.
Long shot week. Maybe I'll talk some golf tomorrow. Drew will be off. I'll probably just vamp solo for 15 minutes, talk golf.
I dig.
Maybe I do have a thought on how we can take the gorilla down. Maybe I'll flesh that out tomorrow.
Okay, do it. If you want basketball for tomorrow, by the way, I took the points with your Timber Puppies. I bet the over. I think that there's a reasonable chance Minnesota closes out, but I definitely think they score 110. And I laid the 4.5 with Houston. So that's my card for tomorrow in the NBA. All right, man.
All right, boys and girls.
Let's wrap. And yeah, I'll see you live from Churchill on Derby. Of course, is Thursday of Derby week.
Derby.
Is that how you pronounce it?
That's how you say the soccer team. Derby.